And once again, it freezes. Always does that, roughly at the same point, and I've yet to get to the bottom of it. One day I'll figure it out, but just obviously hasn't been today. Happy New Year, everyone. It's now 2024, first live stream of 2024. Another year ahead of us. Christmas is but a memory. All the Easter eggs are in the shops now. Have you noticed? Although we're in December up here. So anyway, yes, cheers everyone. Happy New Year. May it bring you good luck and prosperity. And here's to the next 12 months. Yes, a few of you are commenting. The sling is gone. The splint is still there. I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an update on how that situation is unfolding as we go along. But first of all, let's do the customary roll call. We've got Mark Kernow first in there, then Terry Day, Rent to Kill, Peter Collins, Maria Davis, Rob Bald, Relaxing Meditation. Who has a question for me? Hi, John and everyone. I'm still not first. Question for John. Have you ever played a Variac 600 modelling guitar? I know you use amp modelers. Just a question. Hope you answer this one, please, John. I don't know if it was a Variac 600, but yes, a very kind chap called Peter Nelson loaned me a Variac guitar of some description a little while back. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. Then who else we got? We got Anton, we got Theme Tunes, we got Peter Nicholson, we got PFY Guitars, Silent Hybrid, and there's Timbo. Sean House is in. Johnny Random is there, so is Frank Bolam, Johnny H, Dr. Gomez, Dave Fiendish, Sometimes Dim Never Thin is in. And there's Ian Clark right there. Ben Allmark is in, so is Amadeus. And Stephen Hedger, John Ross, David James, Paul Trainer, BSc. And who else we got? We've got Phil, the Essex Cat, Peter Borthwick, David Evans, Gordo Canuck is in, so is Mickey Walnuts. And if I scroll down a bit further, I can see there's Deco Dude. And we got Dogfather61, David Mitchell, and there's Calby and the Rocco Cat. Jamal123, Steve Sprosen is there. Who else we got? We've got Gearview Mirror, Grandpa Joe, wishing us all Happy New Year, wishing healthy and prosperous year to the Robson family and all. Well, thank you very much, mate. There's Chris Ottewell, and who else we got? Did I say Vincent Brennan? If I didn't, I just did. There's Peter Shields and Bill Mumbo. Rexomatic is in, Steve Entwistle, JJ Davis, Edwin Toonan is there. Edwin's been helping me out with some video content in the last week or thereabouts, and so is another person who's probably in the chat I haven't got to yet. There's my phone pinging. I'll have a look, see what that is in a moment. Yes, Mr. Cassidy has been doing a little bit of a favour for me as well. Anyway, moving on, I see we've got David Collins, Johnny, Nancy Davis, Colin Falcon, Gary Shaw is in. And let's have a little bit of a look. We've also got Maidenman74. Marvellous Bloke is there. Did I say that? Yes, I think I did. There's Pablo Hank. Jimmy James. Raymondo Galfredi is in. And asking who else is watching the great... the GG... Is it the... Great Guitar Build-Off, I think that is, draw on Crimson Guitars. I didn't know that was still going, mate. I haven't, for some reason, Crimson Guitar videos haven't popped up in me kind of feed for quite some time. There's Peter Goddard wishing me a Happy New Year. Thank you, mate. Joe McMurray is there. There's the aforementioned Mr. Cassidy and Brad Dowell, Dennis Flock, both in. Anyone else? We've got Mark Greening, Watches and Guitars. George Wall is in. Brian Brazil, Halloween Jack. Yes. Sorry, yes, I'll just mention the T-shirt. Sorry, DGAF. That's from a friend of mine, Andrew, who sent me that just as a nice little kind of Christmas present. It's a real guitar in-joke, isn't it? There's Thomas Mulvaney and anyone else. Lawrence Nefkins and Peter S., Andrew Stoddart, James Hunt, Cy Rollinson, Cushman, New York City, Dan Bernstein, long time no see, mate. Hope you're doing well. And I think that is possibly it. And there we go. Ben Crimson took time out to have a mental breakdown. I didn't know that. Well, get well soon, Ben. It's I imagine he has quite the portfolio of work to be getting on with, doesn't he? So pressure of work can lead to that kind of thing, I guess. Let's just get a little bit more light in here. That's better. Right. So I'll get all the usual housekeeping stuff out the way first of all. I'll tell you what's coming up on the channel this week. Behind me on the wall back there, you can see the that black Les Paul custom kind of looking thing. That is not a black Les Paul custom. It's a satellite Les Paul copy. Some of the finest plywood that the 1970s could offer. I've often mentioned my black. I've often mentioned my not black. Mine was a sunburst. My satellite Les Paul copy on the channel in the past, and very kind chap called Neil got in touch and basically gave one to me. Just as a thank you for putting this stuff out on the channel, and I used to teach his son, and just as a nice goodwill gesture. And I've mentioned this a couple of times before, but Sunday's video is putting that rather humble 1970s satellite Les Paul copy through its paces in kind of a modern setting. We'll see how it fared, shall we? So that's Sunday's video. Then on Monday, a little bit of Southern rock for you, a little bit of a Southern rock kind of solo analysis from a band that I really didn't kind of get when I first heard them. I always thought they were a little bit too commercial and perhaps a little bit sort of kind of the Southern rock version of like a Spandex and Poodle Perm kind of band. I'm talking about Blackberry Smoke, but just one of their songs cropped up in my Spotify feed a little while ago, and I thought, actually, this isn't bad. So I thought I'd do a solo analysis, and that's what we're doing on Monday. Can't You See by Blackberry Smoke. No relation to the Marshall Tucker Band song, Can't You See, which I did the solo analysis of a little while ago. Then Tuesday, Top 5 Tuesday, as usual. That is the tradition, and just because we're into a new year doesn't mean I'm going to change anything. I've settled into a rhythm, and it kind of works for me. So what is the top 5 this week, I hear you ask? Well, it's power ballads. My 5 favourite rock power ballads, the kind of thing that back in the 80s and 90s you'd kind of flip your Zippo lighter and kind of wave it in the audience. So those kind of songs. So that is Tuesday's video. Wednesday is, as always, a viewer's question video, and just have, as I always say, if you have any questions or queries of a guitar or music-related nature and you think I'm the chap to answer them, then get in touch, jrguitartuition@gmail.com. Ping an email over to there, and it could end up in a Wednesday viewer's question video. This week, or this coming week, the viewer's question is all about double stops. I've done videos on this in the past, it's been a while. Thought it was worth kind of revisiting, seeing as how someone had asked. So that is what we're doing on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, it's a new guitar day. It's an unboxing of a Jet JT 350. So that will be that video. You've seen the guitar there, and I have big plans for that guitar, and that will be something else that's coming up on the channel in due course. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a drink, have a look in the chat, and then we'll decide what we're going to talk about next. Let's have a look and see what's been going on, what you've been talking about while I've been... Rob Ball, Satellite, Columbus, Avon, all dreadful. Yeah, they're not... it's they're just not good guitars by today's standards, but it's what we all had to learn on back in those days, wasn't it? I'm crap at knowing chords. I thought the shirt said A, G, E, D. No, it's D, G, A, F. Sorry, I, D, G, A, F. What could that stand for? I wonder. JJ Davis is saying, speaking of Southern Rock, a solo analysis on a song by the Outlaws would be interesting. Let me write that down. Outlaws solo analysis. No, so it's officially on the list because I've written it down. Peter Goddard saying Scorpions, Wind of Change. I've already done that one, mate. I did that. Got to be over a year ago now. Yes, and got the usual sort of not usual because it's surprising given that every week I do some kind of solo analysis of of someone else's material. It's surprising how little I get like a copyright claim on it. The weirdest thing is I got a copyright claim on a video I uploaded this week. It was the video where I was playing guitar for the first time since this happened. Apparently someone in Vietnam has claimed copyright on it. I don't know who it is because it's all written in sort of, that pictographic kind of language. But the only territory I'm sharing the revenue in is Vietnam, and Vietnam doesn't even crop up in when I look at me YouTube analytics. It doesn't crop up as being anywhere where I get any views anyway. On Road Again is saying, good evening, John. Do you have any recommendations for best service for guitars, please? Recently sold an amp with DHL and it arrived damaged to the cellar. Also, where do you get guitar boxes from? The guitar box thing is a perennial pain in the neck because, they just, you can buy them, but, by the time you bought I find you can get them on eBay. But by the time you've bought the guitar box, like the inner box, the wedge box, and the outer box, it's cost you more than a sort of reasonably priced gig bag. So the thing I always do is whenever I buy a guitar, I keep the box, and it either goes up in the attic or in the shed or under a bed somewhere, so that whenever I need to sell something, there's always a box to ship it on in, and that seems to be the only solution. I really, really do wish that you could buy if places like Anderton's and Toman and Gear for Music and all the usual retailers. Why don't they have a section on their website where they sell you packing materials for selling guitars? It's just, it seems such a no-brainer, but nowhere seems to do it. Yeah, Jay Ao Young is saying lots of scammers in Vietnam. Well, I don't think they respect international borders, do they, mate? Scumbags kind of, they get everywhere, much like the mouse that's in our kitchen at the moment. We got one of the little sods. The temptation of the peanut butter on the trap was just too much for him, and wallop. That's him not troubling our skirting boards anymore, but there's still another one scurrying around. So we'll get you. Don't you worry. Your days are numbered, son. But yes, let's talk about this then. This injury here. Yes, I'm out of the sling. The physiotherapist at the last appointment said you don't need to wear the sling anymore, but I do need to keep the splint on kind of most of the time. It's still a little bit ahead of schedule for playing the guitar, but I just couldn't resist. And I thought, well, my body will tell me, my finger will tell me if I'm doing anything that I shouldn't be doing. The way things are at the moment, those of a squeamish nature might want to look away now, because I'm going to take the sling off and I'm going to show you exactly. I'm not going to give you any kind of close-ups, but there's my hand. You can see how all of my fingers will bend, but it's just this one here just doesn't want to kind of go that last little bit. Now, there are 3 possible scenarios that could unfold. One is that as the swelling goes down and the internal healing kind of progresses, that that mobility will come back to some extent, or and if that's fine, well, great, I'll take that. If the current state of affairs is going to be permanent, then I've already figured out that I can play with the 3 remaining fingers. I've been doing a couple of little bits and pieces and solos where I can actually learn the solo, like for the solo analysis kind of stuff, where I can learn something and plan how I'm going to play it. Then I can get by on those 3 fingers, just kind of redistributing the kind of tasks that 3rd finger has to do amongst the other 3 fingers. And I've got some kind of promising results with that in the past couple of days. So if this current state of affairs is permanent, then I can work around it and adapt. So if the movement comes back, fine. If it doesn't, well, I can adapt to that. If I can't adapt to that, then what the surgeon... I was at an appointment with the consultant, the surgeon today, a lovely lady, Miss Kettle, she's called. And she said, well, see how you get on, and then... Hello, what was that? See how you get on, and if need be, we can re-sculpt the finger so that bend on the end there is kind of hardwired into it. So you won't be able to straighten your finger again if it's like that, because they would end up fusing the bones to kind of fix that. But it would be another solution. So one way or another, I'm going to be playing guitar properly, either with 3 fingers, with all 4 fingers, or with all 4 fingers, one of them surgically altered to help me play. That's where we're at the moment. All of this from a split second kind of mishap, getting me finger caught in the dog's lead. It's just one of those crazy things that life throws up at you. But it's a challenge, and keeps things interesting, doesn't it? Yeah, it did sound like a mousetrap, didn't it? But there aren't any mouse traps in here. He hasn't learned to climb stairs yet. Peter Nicholson saying, John, it will take longer than they say, but trust me, you get back to normal. Only problem when you press down and apply pressure down, but you will get there. Yeah, I'm encouraged by the results I've got just playing with 3 fingers. Today I did, today and yesterday, I've done a Lindsey Buckingham solo and a Tom Scholz solo, just with kind of firing on 3 cylinders essentially, and it didn't seem to take me any longer to get done what I needed to get done. Yeah, Steve. Steve, let's put you up on screen here. Did you see the Beato Steve Morse interview, John? He's adapted amazingly after his challenges and surgery. Yes, I did see that. What an inspirational thing. I mean, musicians occasionally have to kind of adapt to these sort of circumstances. Steve Morse is a great example. We all can talk about Django Reinhardt, and Tony Iommi, and not that I'm the world's biggest Def Leppard fan, but you got to have the admiration for what was he called? Rick Allen? Is it the drummer? Successful drummer with one arm. Anton saying, is there much scar tissue? Not that you can see on the outside, mate, but apparently the bulk of it is on the inside. and it's that internal scar tissue that might be arresting the movement that I need at the moment. So we'll see. It's, as I say, one thing is certain: I'm going to keep on playing. I have to, because it's what keeps the lights on around here, and B, the idea of not playing the guitar is just, well, it's unthinkable. Oh, now there is a long-term viewer of the channel. Don't you mean Tony Lomi? Yes. Now then, I better explain that one. Back in the days when when we were prevented from allowing people into our homes for various government mandated reasons, which we'll talk no more about. I'm convinced there was some little bod from the local council, the People's Democratic Republic of Redcar and Cleveland, who were phoning around businesses like mine trying to catch us out. And this one lady kind of said, yeah, I'm looking for guitar lessons. Are you still doing guitar lessons in your home? And I said, well, no. I said, not really at the moment, because we weren't allowed to. And she mentioned during that conversation that she wanted to play like Tony Lomi. She'd obviously read Iomi and mistook the L for the capital I for an L. So yeah, that all seems such a long time ago. Jerry W is watching from Henderson, Kentucky. Well, I don't know what time it is in Henderson, Kentucky, but I hope you can kind of manage to hoist a beer, which is what I'm about to do in a second. And then I have a question for you, good folks, which might seem a little bit kind of odd, random, left field, out of the blue. Pick your own, kind of turn of phrase there. But it is something that I've seen one or two other YouTube guitar channels doing. And I just thought, I wonder if I should do that. And what I'm thinking of is, you ever watched, the one that springs to mind immediately is Dave's World of Fun Stuff. The Canadian guitar tech luthier repairer, that guy. Brilliant channel. If you haven't watched his channel, go and check him out. He's one of these guys, I don't think he realizes how funny he is, because he's not trying to be funny. He's just, he's just a middle-aged, grouchy bloke that kind of that fixes guitars, and he's just really, really funny to listen to, and obviously knows his stuff inside out as well. I've picked up loads of useful stuff from watching his channel, but occasionally he does stuff where he does food related videos. He shows like his barbecuing technique, or how he gets his chicken wings crispy, and all this kind of stuff. Is that something that you would like to see on this channel? Not every week, not even every month, but maybe a couple of times a year. Is that something that I would be worthwhile for me to kind of take the video camera down into the kitchen and do stuff with? We might even catch the mouse on film. So let me know what you think about that. Creative Storm saying curry recipes. Yes, sir. Curry. We're pretty well stocked up on curry at the moment. So it might be a while before I do that. Curry lesson. Food vid would be fun. Love Dave's World of Fun Stuff. Seems half pissed sometimes. Yes, you do get the feeling that that he's maybe a tiny bit lubricated from time to time. How about a tour of Redcar? I did one of those ages ago, and I said I'd probably do another one. So I might just do that. I just did it on my phone last time, and the footage was a bit wobbly. So I might see if I can borrow a GoPro or something. Yeah, we shall see about that. Let's have a look. See. Let's have a look, see what's been going. I want to see the mythical Parmo. Oh, the Parmo is a thing of delight. For those of you who are not natives of the Teesside region, a Parmo is, well, basically what you do is you get chicken breast and you bash it out flat. And then you cover it in breadcrumbs, which means you dip it in flour, dip it in beaten egg, and then dip it in breadcrumbs. And then you fry it in butter. So there's your first clue about where this is going to go. Yes, chicken breast fried in butter. Then what you do is you make a bechamel sauce made of flour and more butter and milk and maybe a little bit of cheese in there as well. Salt, pepper. I always put a dash of mustard in as well, and an egg yolk, and then you smear that over the top of the breadcrumb, the fried breadcrumb chicken, and then on top of that you get some cheese, kind of good strong cheddar and maybe a little bit of mozzarella, and you put that on top of it, and then you put it in the oven and cook it till the cheese all bubbles up and goes nice and brown and bubbly and melty and stuff. And then you serve that with salad because you want to be healthy after all. And yes, it is pretty much the definition of a heart attack on a plate, but it is so damn good. Oh, you've not lived until you've tried one. And it's the delicacy in these parts, literally everywhere sells them. It doesn't matter whether you're going to like your kind of salmonella infested corner takeaway shop or some kind of maybe not kind of fine dining restaurant, but like just your regular kind of family kind of pub fare kind of restaurant. Everywhere sells them. And I say I've got a super chat in there. Let's have a look and see where that came from. Oh, theme tunes. Someone's got to start the beer fund. Christmas is just around the corner. Thank you so much, theme tunes. And there's Raymondo Galfredi for the salad. Indeed. Thank you so much, chaps. Much appreciated. That'll kind of get me a nice kind of little top up over the weekend. Thank you. Amadeus is saying, big game tomorrow in our part of the world. Will you be shouting for black and white or red and white? I presume you're referring to some kind of football thing. It's lost on me, mate. It's 22 millionaires ruining a lawn, as far as I'm concerned. If they're playing out there, I'd shut the curtains. I was born without the football gene, I have to say. Now a day at the races, that's a different story. I think it all comes, if you're a bloke, it all comes from your dad, doesn't it? And my dad wasn't into football. My old fella, he was the archetypal Yorkshire farmer, and he loved his horses, or as he used to say in his Yorkshire accent, osses. Going to see some osses. A day at the races, it was like, I'd always get a day off school when there was a big race meeting on to go with my dad, drink shandy in between the races and kind of get him to put me bets on for me, at the bookies. I'd kind of be getting like 20 pence on this horse or that. Oh, great day out. If you've never had a day at the races, it is a fantastic day out. Day at the races, pub afterwards, then round the night off with a curry. Fantastic. You'll be amazed at how happy it makes you. I think I've got another. Anton, thank you so much, mate. Someone else has to start the 2024 Red Carmageddon meetup fund too. Yeah, well, stranger things have happened, mate. We can certainly arrange. Well, maybe towards the end of the year. Ben Allmark saying all pro sports are unfortunately rigged, in my opinion. Anyway, I wouldn't know, mate. It's not something that I did sort of kind of start following that, what's he called, Luke Littler, that 16-year-old darts whiz. But is darts really a sport? That's debatable, isn't it? Let's have a look, see what we got. Johnny Love saying, it was interesting watching the end of Rick Beato's 5-hour live stream. I noticed Tim Pierce saying he doesn't miss the stress of being a session musician. I don't. Is he no longer a session player then, Tim Pierce? Has he retired? It's. I mean, when you look at the amount of gear that Tim Pierce has got, if he was to cash all that in, he could probably live comfortably for the rest of his days, couldn't he? But it's. He's. I do like Tim's playing. To me. You look at the stuff that he plays and you think, anybody could play that. But anybody didn't. He did. Do you know what I mean? He's just the archetypal kind of player who just plays perfectly simple things that are just right and just fit the song perfectly or fit the track perfectly. And and it's just that big grin he's got on his face as he's playing, and it's just like, yeah, this is fun. I'm not even trying here. He's just, for me, he's a consummate professional player. Oh, so we've got Craig Stamen in. Craig is another chap who's helping me out with my current situation. Let's put you up on the screen. Evening, John. Hello, all. I'll have them tracks sent over to you this weekend. Sorry for the delay. I had to order a new interface. It's gear problems, isn't it? I've got to tell you, I've got two interfaces going here. I've got the one on this PC here, and if I turn the camera around a little bit, you can see the other PC over there that you often see in shot, and another one there. And they're both just the humble little Behringer Euphorias, and they've never ever let me down. They just work. You plug them in, as long as you've got ASIO for All installed, the system picks them up and they just work. I've had Focusrite interfaces before, and another brand that escapes me, I can't remember, but always kind of glitchy and kind of cutting out and problems with levels and stuff. But these Behringer U40s, which are about 40-50 quid on Amazon, dirt cheap, they just work. They're fine. Let's have a look, see what Johnny Love saying that Tim Pierce said his main income was from his online lessons. Have I got another super chat in there? Edwin Toonan, thank you so much, mate. Happy New Year, mate. I wish you loads of sponsored Heineken. Well, thank you very much, mate. There's no need for that. Edwin has gone above and beyond the call of duty in helping me out with with video content. Occasionally, Edwin has lessons with me, and we basically videoed one of the lessons and recorded the Zoom call, and I've got at least one video out of it, which is that'll be coming up towards the end of the month at some point. Johnny Random saying, are darts and snooker sport? Well, in the 80s, the competitors sure kept themselves well lubricated with the old beer. Indeed, they did, mate. I did used to like a bit of snooker. That was very much an 80s thing, wasn't it? Snooker was the big thing in the 80s. I mean, I remember that final where Dennis Taylor, the guy whose glasses looked like, see if I can do the Dennis Taylor glasses. The guy who had the glasses that looked like that, who were upside down. I remember him winning, and that was like a nail-biting final. And Jimmy White, I think the final in '94, which is again not 80s, but it was that was a good final as well. But I don't know, I just kind of lost interest in that kind of thing. Not that there was a great deal of interest in it in the first place, to be honest with you, sport. But snooker I did get into for a while. Let's have a wee look, see what's going on in the chat. Ravensmead is saying you could do guitar setups and maintenance to bring in some extra pennies. I could, and I've got a workbench there all set up. The only problem that is that I can do most setup work on a guitar, having taught myself and kind of learned through my mistakes over the years. The one thing I can't do is, well, I could do, I know in theory how to do it, but I've never done it, is a refret. So, you don't want to be the guy who, is advertising their services as a guitar technician and repairer and say, oh, yeah, I can do this, this, and this, and this, but I'm not doing that. Because then you get the reputation for not being somebody who can do the job. Deco Dude is saying, John, do you have any problems going to the toilet? Not after the curry I'll be eating later, to be honest with you, mate. It will be anything but a problem. Let's have a wee look, see what else is going on. Oh, Phil B's in. How are you, mate? What else have I missed? Phil fell asleep, missed the first half. Well, you can watch it on catch up, mate. Timbo's saying, got new Focusrite for my Mac. It's great. Use GarageBand to record, looking for some drum tracks. Thrashy punk metal to play to. Just get, some, GarageBand, that you can use VSTs with that, can't you? And all the drum stuff on my on all of my stuff is just a free drum plugin, MT Power Drum Kit, and it's not the most versatile thing. It's not like some of the more elaborate like things like Session Drummer or anything like that, where you can choose between different kits and whatever. You get one kit, but you get tons and tons of presets. That I don't think I've had to actually program a drum pattern in about 5 years. I just use the presets. I occasionally tweak them a little bit, like the preset loops. But even for I can usually find stuff that is pretty close to anything, even like Ginger Baker kind of drum parts and stuff. Sean House is saying, before the incident, I seem to remember you saying you were planning a refret. Yes, I am. It is something. It's just the curiosity of doing it. I'm just going to buy the cheapest Harley Benton or Squire Sonic or cheapest Faisley or Glary guitar and attempt a refret. And if it goes wrong, well, it doesn't matter because I've ruined something that cost pennies in the first place. But there is a refret coming up at some point. There is a guitar that you haven't officially seen on the channel yet. I've teased it on a couple of live streams. That it's a Jet guitar. It's the one I'm unboxing on Thursday. I'll let the cat out of the bag. It looks, if you kind of half close your eyes, it looks a lot like a certain model of Sir guitar. And I'm just thinking, well, wouldn't it be fun to try and kind of upgrade it to that kind of Sir spec? So I'm going to be enlisting the services of a fantastic guitar company in this area called Agrajag Guitars, who I contacted them to say, do you fancy working together? And the response was, what a coincidence. I was literally going to email you. They were going to email me, to kind of suggest exactly the same thing. So we've worked out a deal where they're going to do the work on the guitar for me. It's going to be an interesting thing. Now, there's a great idea. Johnny Random saying, buy a cheap neck on Amazon to learn a refret, about 30 quid. What a spiffing idea. I shall do that, mate. James Hunt saying loads of guitars for pennies on Facebook Marketplace, etc., for doing a refret. Yeah, the wife's on Facebook, so I might get her to have a look. I briefly tried Facebook about 10 years ago, and what I didn't like about it was, and the same thing was true of Twitter or X or whatever it's called these days. The way the way the software is structured and everything, it's addictive. You just keep wanting to go back and kind of get that kind of endorphin kind of hit of seeing what comments you've got and what likes you've got and that sort of thing. And it was like, I didn't like the way I felt compelled to keep going back to it. And I just thought this is possibly not that healthy, because you don't want to get dependent on anything, do you? Enough said. Yeah, so I kind of I canned the whole social media thing. I never really tried Insta thingy, whatever it's called. At the time I was casting around for things that were going to help generate some income for me from guitar lessons. And, I'd put stuff up on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and it was the YouTube thing that got the traction for me. So that's the one I stuck with. And I don't know why, I just don't get the same kind of sense of, of urgency to go and check what the reactions are to what I posted on YouTube that often, used to, kind of plague me with Twitter and so on, and Facebook and stuff. But yeah, Facebook Marketplace, I do know it exists, and as I say, the wife's on Facebook. I think the thing that many people sign up to Facebook for is, they want to catch up with people who've lost touch with, kind of old school colleagues and college mates and what have you. But I did all of that years before that because I'm older, and I ended up. Anyone remember Friends Reunited? That was kind of how I caught up with a lot of my the people I'd lost touch with. And it may be a slightly unkind thing to say, but when you do catch up with somebody that you haven't seen in 25 years, it doesn't take you long to figure out that there's a reason I didn't keep in touch with you. Do you know what I mean? You just think, okay, yes, thanks for the memories, but bye bye. Again, let's have a look. John Max saying, in my family, it seems to be the women who are on Facebook. Yeah. Let's have a look. Phil B saying, you're right about Facebook addiction. Many millions invested in psychological tactics. Buying on Facebook, says Dave Snack Stevens. Buying on Facebook Marketplace, nicknamed FaceBay in our house. James Hunt, only ever use Facebook for buying on Marketplace, wouldn't even know how to work the other side of it. Timbo saying about the drums, cheers, downloading it now. A lot of people saying, including Jimmy James and Steve Cassidy, that they're dependent on YouTube. I tell you what one of the things that I got for Christmas was an Audible subscription, and because I love getting my head into a good book, but I just don't have the time at the moment to just sit down and read for an hour and knock off a good couple of chapters. But I got an Audible subscription for Christmas, and I'm loving it. I'm on my third book since Christmas. Billy Connolly, Rambling Man, read by Billy himself. I've just finished the latest Lee Child, Jack Reacher. Yes, I am that shallow. I love me Jack Reacher books. I'm watching the Amazon Prime series 2 at the moment. If you don't know who Jack Reacher is, go and grab a Jack Reacher book. They're fantastic. They're just kind of, it's just like he's this ex-military cop who just wanders from town to town. He's a homeless hobo, and wherever he pitches up, he always gets into adventures. It's a bit like that series from the 70s. Do you remember Kung Fu? Kane from Kung Fu, who just kind of wanders into town and gets embroiled in some nefarious scheme and sorts out the bad guys, and then when it's all kind of resolved, you see him kind of walking out of town. Brilliant stuff, great self-contained little stories. If you like sort of escapist adventure, kind of detective-y kind of dramas, then yeah, just check out a Jack Reacher book. Malcolm Spillett saying, what do I think of Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher? Yeah, the only problem I had with Tom Cruise as Jack Reacher is in the books, Jack Reacher is like 6'5" tall, and just Tom Cruise isn't, frankly, is he? The guy who's playing him on the Amazon Prime adaptation at the moment is the guy that you picture when you read the books. He's as we say in these parts, he's built like a brick shit house, and it's just a good kind of put your brain in neutral escapism kind of thing. I see. Ian Clark. I've been revisiting John's courses from Udemy. Great value. Well, thank you, Ian. And by the way, Ian is something of a dog whisperer, and he's been giving us a few tips with calming some of Dougal's more recalcitrant urges. That's a big word for a Friday night, isn't it? And I've got to tell you, Ian, they are working. They really, really are. We've solved a couple of sort of Dougal's less than kind of polite urges that he tends to do. Not putting too fine a point on it, but that thing that dogs do to your leg. Well, he doesn't tend to do it anymore. And just one or two other things. Thank you, Ian. We'll have another little WhatsApp chat at some point, mate. Let's have a look. See. What are you saying there, Ravensmead? Caps lock, it must be important. Hi, John, this would be a great time to do a Luthier course and claim it back on tax too. Yes, indeed. I've got to see what sort of shape. January is the month where I get my tax bill, and I'm going to have to see what sort of shape I'm in after that. At the moment, it is a nice problem to have, that you're earning enough to kind of be concerned about such things, but I'm going to have to kind of plead some kind of kind of appeal to the taxman's compassionate nature this year, because this has affected my earning potential a little bit. There are lessons that I haven't been able to do, and despite what I do on YouTube and Udemy and Ultimate Guitar and Patreon and everything, the biggest, if you were to kind of put my income into like a pie chart, the biggest slice of that pie is still the lessons that I do, the private lessons, and this has impacted on that. Hence the money that I had sort of set aside to pay for the taxman. It's I am going to have to kind of get the old violin out and plead to their compassionate nature. But you know what I always say, if you want world-class public services, secure borders, law and order, efficiently run government, and a functioning healthcare system, then there's a price that goes with that. That's me being sarcastic, by the way. Anyway, Anton saying you can get 100% back on work equipment now. HMRC can afford it. Yeah, the thing is that for people like me who've turned a hobby into a living, they often and work from home. It's where they draw the line between what is for personal use and what is for business use. Phil saying, lol, just figured out the shirt. Yes. A big shout out to Andrew who got me this shirt. Andrew is the guy who he started off as a student of mine. And I've met him a couple of times. He's been up this part of the world, but he lives in Liverpool. Andrew is the guy who won that Les Paul Custom in the Guitar Gear giveaway contest, and got it. He was out the country at the time when he found out that he'd won, and he got it delivered to me, and I did a couple of videos with it, and that was a bloody nice guitar. It has to be said. Mecca Lochgelly is saying, did David Soul have any good guitarists in his band? Yes, he left us today, didn't he, David Soul? That's a part of my childhood, that Starsky and Hutch. I don't know what guitarists were in his band, but I did do a video, gosh, it's got to be back in about 2019, about, kind of cheesy 70s pop songs that had great guitar parts, and I demonstrated some of them, like Magic by Pilot, Tiger Feet by Mud, and I forget which else was on there, but Silver Lady by David Soul was on there. It's a great little funky kind of riffy guitar part in there that's, it's, when was that, 1977? And that that riff is still in my head to this day. Ravensmead. We are very lucky up here in Glasgow. Our local college does an amazing guitar setup, repair and restoration evening class. Oh God, I wish I lived in Glasgow for that, really, because all you get, the only evening classes you tend to get round here are, kind of, elementary pottery and double entry bookkeeping for beginners. A guitar Lutheran setup course, that would be brilliant. I'd sign up for that. Jerry W. I'm thinking of starting a new social media company based on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. I'm going to call it YouTwitface. Yeah, you go for that, mate. I often, because I hold such companies in, not very high regard, it has to be said, I often refer to like FaceTube or Twittergram or, stuff like that, just to kind of basically show a little bit of healthy disdain for them. Pilot, January, yes indeed. That was their other hit, wasn't it? Magic and January. I didn't know until, I guess, relatively recently. I'm talking like, gosh, I feel really old when I say. Do you remember when you were a kid and your parents used to say, it wasn't that long ago, it was only 20 odd years ago. And you think, 20 years, that's ancient. But you find yourself doing it now. I remember I found out in the 90s that Pilot were essentially the core members of the sensational Alex Harvey band. I think, weren't they? Yes. Was it Sensational? No, the Alan Parsons Project. I always get those two bands kind of arse about face for some reason. But yeah, they were just, it was, the 70s, I think, was just a great era for pop. Just the top 40, kind of what we would consider kind of this disposable, here today, gone tomorrow, in the charts, out the charts, next single comes out and you forgot about the last one. the 70s was a great era for quality songs in that genre in a way that I don't think we've seen since. You know, I mean, nowadays it's a 4-bar, 4-chord, you know, A minor, F, C, G loop that then becomes, you know, that wins an Ivan Novello award, which, you know, there you go. But when I were a lad, David Evans is saying, John, you find loads of YouTube for setups, etc. That's how we learn to do this stuff. Save yourself a lot of money when you do it yourself. Yeah, I kind of learned how to do it through, you know, I mean, my first attempt at fixing a high fret was, it involved a hammer. That's all I'm going to say. And you learn that's not the way to do it. So it had to go to the late, great Jim Cairns for that particular guitar for a refret, because I'd completely kind of... But you learn how... that's the epitome of learning from your mistakes. And I remember like learning how to do a fret level and crown. I didn't have a leveling beam, but I did have a spirit level and some sandpaper. So double-sided tape on the spirit level, fix the sandpaper to it, and that's how I learned to do a fret level. That said, I will say that I can't remember the last time I bought a new guitar that needed that kind of attention, really. I think that if there's one thing that's massively improved over the last 10 years or so, it is the quality of fretwork on cheap guitars. That is something that I definitely have noticed. But there you go. Let me know your experiences. Maidman74 saying, can I claim copyright? You've just described the chord progression for every song I ever recorded. Yes, well, it's there it is, mate. Everybody uses it, don't they? It's a spin on the old Axis of Awesome kind of thing, isn't it? Jimmy James is saying, we have a local guitar shop that will plec your guitar after a refret. I was always skeptical of the whole plec process until, let me get it, this guitar arrived. The Les Paul Tribute, you know, absolutely effortless to play and just beautifully set up straight out of the box. And this is the guitar I'm currently playing the most at the moment in my limited playing abilities, because it's a Gibson. It's got the shorter. It's the shorter scale length, which makes the string tension a little bit more friendly. And Ian Clark has just said there, don't forget to go to Steve Cassidy Guitar after this. Yes, indeed, he's going live. Well, I don't know if he's doing a live stream this week, but he's got a video out at 6 p.m. and it's apparently a bit of a magnum opus this week. So I won't be able to watch it as it goes out, but I shall catch up with it while wifey's watching Coronation Farm or EastEnders Street or whatever it is that she's watching later, and I'll plug my headphones in and catch up with it then. And anyway, chaps, I see we're kind of into the final minute of the stream. I'm not going to fit another beer in before we wrap up. So that was the first live stream of 2024. Thank you, each and every one of you, 215 at current count, for turning up and watching a fat, bald bloke with a gammy hand talk absolute nonsense for an hour. It's been a blast, and I'll keep on doing it till you're sick of me. But for now, time, gentlemen, please.